Look at that beauty. It's gorgeous, that. Give us a smile, mate.
No, I don't want no pictures, mate.
Don't want to remove it.
Sticking this on YouTube, mate.
No, I won't be.
I want you to do also the keeping the eye up.
Yeah, it will be going on. Shame I didn't get a whoosh. Ooh, not a bad little net. Oh, baby carp. Skin bob. Oh, hybrids. Roach. Skin bobs. Not bad little net. Not bad. Quick 3 hours. Isn't it beautiful? Morning, 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 morning. Wow. Lovely morning. Winter is finally gone. I hope. It was yesterday it was -3 in the morning, afternoon lovely and warm. This morning it was -3 where I live. I'd only travelled like a couple of miles up the road, and I looked at the temperature gauge and it was 0. It's got a little Christmas to it. There's a little bit of, listen to the soundtrack. You don't get that if you're still in bed. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix some bait up. I'm not rushing into this. I've just put a little ball of ground bait out there just to kick things off. It was a little squeezed up, tight, dryish ball. Kicked it out on the range that I know that I want to fish at. A comfortable range, something like 20 yards, something like that. And we're going to go through it. Today, I'm going to fish quite negatively. Last time I fished a match, which is just a little bit further up there, I thought I was doing well, but I wasn't, because I was fishing loose feed, maggot, and I brought in a lot of like small fish. So I come and had a little practice yesterday on another peg further up there, fishing negatively with less maggot and more pellet, and the stamper fish improved a lot, massively. So we're going to go through that today, and we'll go explain the difference between fishing positively and negatively. I'm not going to fish positively, but I'll go through and explain it in a little bit more detail. I'm just going to do the pellets. Yeah. Right, bait for the day is, I'll just show you, hook baits doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter for what I'm doing. Everybody's doing this and all the rest of it. But in here, all I've got in here is some coppin and scretin 2 mil pellets, and I've got some 3mm betaine green swim stim ones. Stick them in my tub. Right, I'm just gonna fill them, leave them on the side, and we'll come back to them later. That is it. All I've done is just cover them. Just cover them, chuck them on the side, leave them. We've done in about 20 minutes, half hour. Perfect for the job. If they're not, hard shits. Let's get on with it. The ground bait I'm using, if the microphone picks up, is my leftovers from the match last week. I put it in the freezer and I got the pellet and I put it in. It's a fish meal ground bait. There's a few little dead maggots in there. Perfect for the feeder. It's like a dry sort of mix, but it's just grabbing there. Right, that's all I want. I don't want it claggy or out like that. I want it to break up on the surface and float down. And the stuff that I quite like at the moment, because it sort of matches in with the pellets quite well, but with a bit of a sweet edge. And skimmers love sweet edge. And what I've been using is. It's not a bad price, and I tell you what, it's good stuff. And I bought, I think it was, what was it, 4 kilo a couple of weeks ago, and 4 sessions in, I'm not putting a hell of a lot in, don't need to, not for the way that I fish with a skimmer, so been doing alright. I'll show you. Bit more actually. Swim stim one, swim stim match, dynamite baits. Steve Ringer's sweet fish meal. It's bang on, it's alright. It's not too fancy, it's not dark or anything. I don't want it dark, I want it to cloud up the water, so got a dark ground bait would basically be backwards really for me. And these fish ain't spooky, believe me, so I don't need a dark ground bait. Right, so get on with it. The other one is the hemp. I'll freeze it and I'll reuse it, I'll take it out and always mix it with a tin of whatever. I'll put processed peas in if I have to. Anything that's got a bit of a preservative in it, in the tin. Corn, obviously. Mix it, and if I need a piece of corn, I'll take some. And the preservatives that are in the tin and the salts, great, but you've got to cover it with water for the day and then drain the water off at the end of the day. So, another little tip. Tiger nut spice, a few worms, always good. Have the worms ready. A bit of squeeze on there. I'm not being tempted by the dark side of the waggler today. The waggler rod is staying in its bloody old door. I love it. I really do love it. But I'm not using it. It's staying away. Right, two trusty rods that I use, I always keep in this hard case, and they go everywhere with me. And they're perfect for the two jobs that I like doing on these sort of venues. Both are 10'6". Just perfect to get in those little places. They pack a punch. Very forgiving on the fish. Softmouth fish, but two different weights. So the two rods that I like using are both set up with Cadence CS7 reels, the 4000s. This is my Tricast Legend 1500 rod, 10'6". It's got a 1/4 ounce 0.25 tip, which is around about, it's a lot longer than most tips on most rods, so it pumps the rod up a little bit more to around about 11 foot. It's 2 foot long, the tip on that. It's a bit of a specialist piece of kit. Shows everything. Don't need braid with it, believe me. Not with that tip. Tips ain't cheap, but do the job. Bloody line everywhere here. When I go in a bit, I'll pick all this line up. It's bloody everywhere. Big, chunking, great big carp line. It's all over the show. Look at that piece there. Look. Great big heavy duty shit. Right, and pop that in my bag. The other rod that I carry everywhere with me is my Tricast XRS. This is the 24K version, 10'6". This is classed as a carp rod, ledger, whatever you want to call it, geared up with around about 1.5 ounce tip. Short tip on this one. Believe me, forgiving enough for a skimmer, strong enough to pull in any carp. It doesn't matter what size you throw it at. Again, geared up with Cadence CS7 4000 reel. These are bang on actually. The drag on them is like a quick drag, but you do on a lot of reels. Very forgiving drag on them. Smooth as hell. Very powerful as well. 6:1 ratio. But this one is with 0.21 line on it. I think the other one is 0.19 on that, possibly 0.2 again, but it's two different companies. On this one I use Colmic fan reel, and the other one I use sensor, dial sensor. Anyway, we'll get these geared up and go through what I'm doing. Right, this one, it's got a little what is that? 15 gram grip mesh feeder on it, Drennan one. The line on the piss, sorted it out, and what I have is two little stops here. This will stop there's always a little feeder link on it, maybe 2 foot, 3 foot line, size 14. This will be a Browning Classic hook, size 14s, about 0.11 line, something like that, 1/4, roughly around about £4 breaking strain. And we'll kick the session off with this. Just 2 maggots on the hook to start off with, possibly 3. Very delicate rods these, got to be careful with them. I'm going to clip this up as well. There's the spot. I never sink the line. I always feel like when you're fishing light like this, you've got a chance of missing a bite. So I just gently tighten up to it, let it sink on its own. The line sinks quite quickly anyway, and I'm rolling into a bite. We'll refrain from picking catapults up and stuff all day. Just cast regularly, keep the bite, tighten it up as much as possible. I'll put a few live maggots in this ground bait. Not many. Plenty of pellet in there, don't need to put any more in. Seems to be something having a go. Little bonny little roach, which you expect at first. I'll find my towel in a minute. So we'll keep that bait as tight as possible. And we'll keep it on that mark. So the idea of having a stop on is you see there, you see a lot of people don't put the stop on, and what happens when you put the rod like that, the feeder ends up down there, so I can actually grab that, dunk it in, and we're out. That was a really soft squeeze on that. I want that to break up on the way down. Little gentle punch. away from the catapult. I'm just going to fish down one line. That's it, straight down one line. Cap. Cap. Notice on the maggot, and we'll carry on for a few more minutes, that the stamper fish is quite small at the moment. It might improve in a short while. So I'll just carry it on. So if I'm feeding on the maggot, I'm going to put a bit in the ground bait. I don't mix it all in. So a couple of maggots on there, but I want to start introducing a little bit of corn and a little bit of hemp into it. So a couple of grains, chuck it in there, and we'll start introducing that into the bait, and we'll see if we can improve the stamp by actually changing the hook bait in a short while. So just put that maggot back out, and then with the intentions of maybe very shortly. What the heck is that on the line? Right, very shortly changing the bait. Size 14 will keep more than enough for a piece of corn. Expecting that to go round. And the thing is the reason why it didn't go round is there's a fish on. So the tail's actually, I'll have to shorten the tail up on this, I'm pretty certain of it. There's a fish on. Again, it's a small fish. Little skimmer. They're obviously chasing the bait down, but I didn't even see the tip go around on that. So the tail will need shortening up on that. But the stamp of the fish is quite small at the moment. Let's give it another go. A few maggots, a few bits of corn in there. I'll have another chuck on it. I mean, shorten the tail. A couple of turns on the reel just to straighten that hook length out a bit. And there we go. So the species of the fish that we're after, which is a skimmer, are on it. So we know we've got the ground bait mixture, right? And the hook baits, what we want, obviously, which is the maggot. I'm not going to shorten that tail, I just need to tighten it up a little bit more to straighten it out. So we'll have another little chuck on that, because obviously it's not improving. We'll put a little bit more corn in there. Got plenty of pellet in there, they love pellet. A little bit of corn in there. We'll still give them a couple of bits of maggot, a little bit of hemp in there, because that always sorts out good stamp of fish. With the intention that we'll change the hook bait just in a minute. I'll just tightly squeeze that a little bit more. Just at the bottom now, just a couple of little turns on there just to straighten that hook length out. It's just going out. Very delicate bites, obviously, with skimmer. Small skimmer, that is. And again, it's quite a small fish. So, what we're going to do now, take the maggots off, get rid of them. Let's see if the little buggers are onto the corn. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose a reasonably small piece of corn, hook it in a tough skin part. There you are, just barb showing. Couple of bits of corn in there and hemp. Yeah, not too much, just enough. Oops. Right, we'll squeeze them in a little bit tighter, make sure it gets to the bottom. You know that they're following bait down, we'll just keep them on the bottom now. We don't want them coming up off the bottom, intercepting bait now. And what we're going to do is we're just going to lay that bait off again, a couple of little turns, straighten that up. Might have to wait a little bit longer. Only a little bit of tension on that tip. Getting a bit of a reaction on it. It's been quite a big bait though. We know that there might be small fish now. Just got to give them a little bit. Don't go striking on every little nick now, but there's something in there now. I'm just going to prepare the feeder for the next one. We've got a little bit of hemp in there this time. There's a little bit of corn still in there, a little bit of hemp, not too much corn. Just got to put a couple of maggots in. Like I said, there's plenty of pellet in there, but I'll put a couple of bits of pellet in, fresh pellet. The thing is, you've got to have to sit and wait a little bit longer. I'm refraining from using that catapult, which is really hard for me. Being, you know, like a float fisherman, I'm wanting to pick up a catapult and firing bait, and I'll have far too much bait in. Just getting a little bit of a... There we go. And I can tell you straight away that the stamp is a little bit better. Not much better than a changing variety of fish. Nicely looked. It's a roach. So the skimmer may not be wanting the corn. We'll try the corn again and see if the same happens again. We may have to go down a different route. On the next setup, beautiful, it's absolutely beautiful. What a soundtrack. So up to now we worked out the skimmers want, the way I feel it is at the moment, I think the skimmers are feeding on the pellet, myself personally. They like maggots. They don't seem to be picking up on the corn. to catch another roach on the comb, we know that. There's not a lot of bites. You know what I mean? Not to the point with what was on the maggots. Must have gone in like a sack of shit. Oh, a little wren. Can you hear that? Beautiful. Oh, a little wren. Jenny wren. No, the comb's not really working. So, we're going to knock that on the head very quickly. They're definitely taking on the drop. But the stamp of fish, it's quite small. So, put this rod down for a bit, because the stamp isn't improving. And we'll have an early look on the method feeder. Right, the hybrid feeder I've chosen today are the Guru. It's a 28 gram one. I use these all the time, the 28 gram on silty areas. Got size 16 QM1 hook on and a little banded 6mm ringers wafter, which are my go-to whenever I can find them, wherever I've put them. I'll find them in a minute, and it's a matter of swap that over to there. So it's a matter of straight in, compress it, hook length right in the middle, cap it off, plenty of pellet and a little bit of ground bait, straight on the same spot. Straight down the same hole. Straight away, going on to the method feeder, stamp of fish is improved straight away. And to answer that question, beautiful roach. Oh, hooks come out, and what they want is pellet, and the wafter doesn't really matter, because obviously when they come in, went on that pellet and you go, yeah, they're not asked about the pellet, they're asked, I mean the wafter. It's critically balanced on a small hook, and it goes straight in. As long as that pellet will go in its mouth, hopefully it'll weasel out those little fish So up to now it's working. So put a layer on to press it tight. Perfect. And then we'll just top it up. A little bit of ground bait on the top of it. Don't move this feeder, whatever you do. A little bit of tension on it. Little roach. I'm going to fish out. I'm not going to put them in the key, in my landing net or anything. I'm just going to get them out. You can pick them up. They are lovely little carp and things. Lots of skimmer. And we'll let them all go. Right, I hope you enjoyed the film. Big shout out to all my friends out there. Dave Greenwood, always comments. How you doing, mate? Stephen Greenwood, nice one. Gary Hannigan, Nick Upton, not seen him for a few weeks. I'll get in touch with Nick as soon as I possibly can. Danny Belfield, Azza Steele, Steve Daly, Mark Elliott, Ian Mann, and the rest of the crew, Mr. Jamie Lord, all those lads out there. I'm sorry we're a bit quiet. I think the COVID's sort of like slowly been melting my brain. Oh, not forgetting my beautiful wife and my son, Paul. If you're out there, how you doing, mate? Oh, chink. Right, mates. Anyway, I'm going to pack all the gear up. If you like the films, please subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed the film. And I'll catch you up later.